Welcome everybody to findtime.com.au. My name is Elliot Hayes and I'm one of the facilitators, and we run a very popular program called Time Management with Microsoft Outlook, which has helped over 5,000 people save time by teaching them how to use Outlook as a productivity tool. So this is just a very short preview, but what you learn in this brief tutorial could seriously help you save some time. And it's been our observation that a lot of people are losing time because of what they don't know. Very commonly, if an IT department who are usually overloaded with duties rolls out a new software, the majority of the focus is on rolling out that software at a technical level. It's not focused on teaching the end user, the staff, how to really use it as a time management tool to get things done. So when using Microsoft Outlook, most people probably know about less than 10% of what it can do because they just had no training. And some of our clients have been using the tool for 5-10 years and still have had no training. They're self-taught, which is a very slow way to go. So the goal of our training is normally to get the knowledge to about 30%. And they'll teach you enough of what you need to use Outlook as a time management tool. The remainder, the 70% left, you just don't need. So don't waste time learning it. The first thing I want to raise is this point here. There's an email here from Whatmail. Let's imagine this is an email from a client, or let's say it's actually from my boss. And I look at the email and you'll notice that the headline has information. But I look at the email and I think, right, as a result of this email, I need to prepare a report to send to John. Now, if I've got to get that done today, it's perfectly fine to leave the email in the inbox. The problem can come up that the headline doesn't actually relate to the task I need to do. So you'll have people who might right-click and flag it. Obviously, this is on 2007 Outlook. Similar process in 2010 or other versions if you're on it. You'll have people who will open the email and forward it to themselves again with an amended headline, so they're actually got a double up of emails. The technique that's the simplest one I want to start with is this. Open up the email, put your mouse on the heading there next to, in that line where it says subject, and in capital letters write down the action you need to take. So let me edit that and just make that specific. So send John the report by COB today. And then I'll hit escape and it will flash this message. Do you want to save the changes to this message? And I'll say yes. Now look at that. When I glance at the inbox, the headline there tells me not only the headline of the actual email, which I could delete or edit completely if I wanted to, but in capital letters it has a note about what I need to do. Now this is important if you're very, very busy. Let's say you read the email, go off to run into a meeting that goes for a couple of hours, you make a few phone calls as well, you sit back at your desk and you look at your screen, look at your inbox, you look at that email and you'll think, now, what was that actually about? And often you'll end up opening it up again to read the email again to remind yourself what you had to do. And there's a very good time management principle that's relevant for Outlook, and it's called handle each item only once. So with emails, that's just not happening. So that's a very useful tip to save time and clearly outline on the headline what you need to do. The second technique I want to show you is if this task or this email relates to an action I have to take that is sometime in the future, let's say next week, like next Monday, then I'd be well advised to store it somewhere else rather than the inbox. And the place to do that could be over here in my tasks. And the way I do that is I get the email and I hold down the right side of the mouse and drag it, still holding that right side of the mouse down, drag it to the tasks folder and I release. And I'll just show you. Look at the options that pop up. For safety's sake, I'm going to choose the copy. If I never need the email again, I would suggest you move it. But here I copy, here is task, and look at that, it creates a task entry. So I can edit the headline to show I need to send report to John on project update. Then I make a note of when I have to get that done. So I'm going to hit the tab key. You can't see my keyboard here, but I'm hitting the tab key to get to different fields within this task entry. I'll go back to the top again, tab key, and instead of dropping this menu down and spending ages looking at this or trying to find the right date and so forth, it'd be a lot better if I could just go, you know what, next Tuesday is when I need to get this done. Next Tuesday. I'll show you again. Next Friday. And it picks that up. If I type in second Wednesday of July, it picks that up. So it's a little more intuitive than you may already realize. If I tab here again, I ignore a lot of these things, but this one here I really think is relevant. I drop that down. Take a few seconds to think, where does this task sit in terms of its importance? Is it high, normal, or low? Most people choose high initially because that's the habit. They're kind of conditioned. They see every email as high priority, and that's not always great for their time management, as you can imagine. But we make a note here. Let's say I'll call this a normal priority, and then save and close it. And you'll notice here, this takes me back to my inbox, ready to respond, answer, handle the next email. I'll show you one more tip if I may, and hopefully I've been able to hold your attention here. But the other aspect where emails relate to where you have to be. So we had an email turning into an action. This email, let's say I need to turn that into a meeting. I'm going to drag that same technique, right click, drag, to calendar. And you'll see here a bunch of options popping up. I'll choose this one here again, copy here as appointment with attachment. And up here, same deal again. I can make a note about the meeting. Meet to review project update. My office. Again, I'm using the tab key to get to those fields. I do that because I work off a laptop a lot, but even if you're at a desktop that has a mouse and so forth, I'd still suggest you use that because it's a little quicker than getting the mouse and taking it to each field. But Friday is the meeting. 10 a.m. is the time. Ditto if I'm back here, 2 will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then down here, I can make a note about the agenda. What do I want to cover in this meeting? And I can make notes there of things I want to raise. And there's various things, various ways we can use that to save time when the actual meeting arrives. But that gives you a little bit of time to mentally prepare what you want to get out of the meeting to make the most of it. And then I save and close that, and again I'm back to my inbox ready to answer the next one, move on, and so forth. If you want to find out more, please check out our website, findtime.com.au. Call us on 1300 316 310 or email myself, Elliot, and my address is eth@findtime.com.au. I hope that's been helpful. Best of luck as the year powers along.